Time it rains, it rains.
Who founded the airport?
Well, you're looking at him. This is Ralph Dickinson. The helmet, the tie, scarf, the jacket, were we recovered from his personal effects and put it on the mannequin.
Oh.
He had a ranch field east of town, and that list of people we see on the yellow card over there, and you can take some pictures of that a little later on. When the flood came through, you see the dam there behind us? That's a pictorial of the St. Francis Dam, about 30 miles upstream. When it went out, it took about 3 hours and 6 minutes for the floodwaters to get here. And when it got here, it just wiped this whole place clean, including 2 ranch fields that were here already. One of them belonged to Ralph. And they got together at $1,000 a crack and bought the territory and established the airport. I arrived here, I guess, almost 40 years ago with my own airplane, and I kept it on the ramp out here. And that was way after it was started. I mean, the airport was incorporated in 1930.
Did you know that a stream went through the airport and cut a C shape out of the landing strip so the locals fixed it by themselves?
Yes, that's right. And since then, I think we got county people to help us bring in a whole load of rock from Conejo Grade, trailers loaded with rock. And all that rock has been strewn along the river's edge, and they've planted trees out there to keep that from happening again in the event we have another high water in the stream out here. This is Santa Clara Creek. Every first Sunday.
Each month.
Right. Well, that's so everybody in the neighborhood will know when we're going to be open. We don't keep it open during the week because actually this is a working hangar. I take all the pictures down, they open the hangar doors and bring airplanes in, like those right there. The one that we usually park in the middle of the floor is a flying Cessna 172. It's out on the ramp right now to make room for us so we won't be bumping our heads on the leading edge.
More recently, guys like Steve McQueen was here. Fleet Roberts was a big-time newscaster was here. Gene Hackman was here. Gene Hackman used to spend a lot of time in this hangar.
Who founded the airport?
Who founded the airport? And why would you ask me that? He was my grandfather, Ralph Dickinson.
Oh, Bruce, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Staying out of trouble?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
What makes St. Paul Airport so special to you?
Makes it what?
So special to you.
Oh, yeah.
Speak up, real loud.
So special to you.
Well, I grew up here. You know, it was my grandfather that founded the airport. My father also was a pilot. I mean, I grew up in the aviation world. It was just natural.
Look, why is there an open house every first Sunday each month?
Well, the open house is a function of the Aviation Museum of Santa Paula, which was founded about 13 years ago to promote the history of the airport, of Santa Paula Airport in particular, aviation in general, for youth like yourself. We think it's a special place and we want to promote that.
Why did Santa Paula decide to make a museum in the airport?
Just for that very reason, because we wanted to preserve the history of Santa Paula Airport. A lot of the airplanes of the history of the airplanes that got rebuilt or built here, like this one, got away. They're gone, you know, and somebody else got them, or another museum got them. So we put an effort together to attempt to try to salvage some of that history.
What is your favorite part about Santa Paula Airport?
The people. It's the camaraderie. The airport physically, yes, is a bunch of tin hangars and airplanes, but the actual airport's made up of the people that own and operate those hangars and airplanes, and that's what it's about.
Thank you.
You're welcome, son.
Good questions.
Yeah. Did you come up with those questions?
Yes.
You did good. And good luck with your project.
Thank you very
You
much.
get an A as far as I'm concerned, just for effort. You get an F in volume, though. Get a little more assertive.
Ralph Dickinson did what?
Trick the farmers to help them build the airport.
Well, that's the story. Whether it confirmed or not, you'll have to ask maybe one of the Dickinson family about that. The story was that the flyers at that time were using one of Dickinson's ranches called the River Ranch, where Mr. Dickinson flew his airplane, and he allowed his neighbors to use it as his flying field as well. When this property became available, he tried to get the group of farmers to purchase this property and build a legitimate Santa Paula airport. There was feeling as well, why should they do that? Because they've got Mr. Dickinson's field to use as an airport, and it's not costing them anything. Why should they invest money in someplace else to land their airplanes? So an ad was put, or an article was put in the paper that the River Ranch, where they were flying out of, had been sold. And so the other people that were flying decided, well, maybe they better invest in this property to build an airport, because they were going to lose the place they were flying out of. So that's the story.
Oh, what makes Santa Paula Airport special to me? To me, it's the history of the airport. The fact that it's been privately owned for 80 years now, and that it was built by a bunch of farmers. Why did people decide to make a museum on this airport? Because this airport has a phenomenal history. For a small airport, the history is absolutely incredible.
What is your favorite part about Santa Paula Airport?
My favorite part about Santa Paula Airport is, well, of course, our community. It's perfect. We have the most ideal weather here. And his friend Dan Emmett, who met up in town on Main Street in front of the bank and decided to build an airport for their community.
What makes Santa Paula Airport so special to you?
Oh, what makes Santa Paula Airport special to me? To me, it's the history of the airport. The fact that it's been privately owned for 80 years now, and that it was built by a bunch of farmers. Sorry. And it just has a really terrific history.
Did you know that a river went through the airport and cut a C shape out of the landing strip so the locals fixed it by themselves?
Yes, the river came through and the floods a couple years ago, and it cut a C shape right to the center line of our runway. It took out, and my husband was out here all night long with several other people trying to stop dumping truckload after truckload after truck. Big semi trucks came in here hauling boulders to try and stop the damage.